What's going on, my family? Your fantasy football dad is back to do another Best Ball MLB draft on Underdog Fantasy. We are in the $15 Dinger and we are ready to draft. I am on this 10th spot. Got some news. Obviously, one of my highest exposed players decided he wanted to go back to the PEDs. That's right, Jerickson Profar decided to be a Profarm enhancement I guess I would say Profarmance Enhancement drug user, and he is really killing my teams right now. I'm pretty much playing with 5 outfielders. I've been putting a lot of drafts on both DK and Underdog, so yeah, not the greatest news. I guess you can't trust him. Loaded up on the PED, thought he was invincible, came back last year, got half a season of suspension, and this year wanted to top that and decided that, hey, let's go out for the full season. And so that's the situation right now with your dad's MLB team. So we'll be drafting this Dinger without any Profar. Wanted to get I always thought he was a good exposure to the Braves lineup, especially with Acuna coming back and hopefully Riley staying healthy, and with Matt Olson in there too, and Drake Baldwin's ascending as well. So I had a lot of bit of Profar, but it's really going to cost me. But not as much as Profar, who probably lost out on 14 million. But without that, let's get down to business. We're on the 10th spot, ready to draft here. It's going to be a little bit of an interesting one right now. It's right away here. I got either Corbin Carroll or Fernando Tatis. That's going to drop to me, and Fernando Tatis goes. So I'm going to take Corbin Carroll. I am not shying away from the hamate bone injury. It looks like he's coming back. He should be away for perhaps maybe a couple of weeks at most. And even then, I've talked about in my previous videos that it doesn't seem like he's going to lose a lot of power. So we should be okay with that, especially getting him on the 10th spot. It's and a player like Corbin Carroll, you can't go wrong. So we're gonna take him there, and we are gonna be up here again. Gonna be looking for probably an infielder right now. So I think I got a good bit of Vlad in my previous lineup. So let's go with Nick Kurtz. Let's try to hopefully see if the player can grow. Obviously, he tore the league apart last year as a rookie, and here's hoping that the second year is just as good or better. So let's go with Nick Kurtz as my second pick in the second round. And I have currently a lineup of Nick Kurtz in the infield spot, and then Corbin Carroll on the outfield spot. So the World Baseball Classic will be starting again, I guess this week or this pretty soon here. There's some exhibition games lined up today with the countries and some of the MLB teams, so that'll be interesting to see. Some loaded lineups, man. You look at like that team Venezuela. That's a loaded lineup. It should be some good baseball. Kind of funny though. It's I think Tarek Skubal is pitching, and then he's going right back to his spring training on the team. So it's kind of like, I don't know how serious this is really being taken, but at the same time, I think the countries outside of the states are treating it pretty seriously. So I think they're going to be gunning to kind of win that one. But it should be good baseball, especially before the season starts. So kind of excited to see how everyone does. But at the same time, don't want to make sure there's any injuries that happen to my teams. I can't afford another loss of an infielder for the season, or a pitcher going down. Like I said, I was pretty high on Profar, and that's going to cost me quite a bit now with my teams. But like I said, we kind of go forward. We still got a month of drafting left, so we'll probably hopefully, I just read that the the MLB PA will be filing a grievance. So let's see how that turns out. But I don't know. 2 positive tests in 2 years, probably not a good thing. And doesn't look, the situation looks kind of bleak. So yeah, let's kind of keep on going here. 6 picks away, and so far we have Nick Kurtz and Corbin Carroll on our team. A couple of players I like coming up here. Lindor looks like he is coming back soon as well, so I guess I can go with the Hamid Bone special with my team here and pick up the players that are kind of been dropping because of that injury. Take Francisco Lindor. He probably will be available. Well, let's see. So we have Lindor, we have Pete Crow Armstrong, we have Jaron Duran, Randy Arozarena, and Riley Green and Suzuki. Probably gonna look to get another outfielder here. I do like Crow Armstrong, so let's see if I can nab him here. I was thinking about Soderstrom to kind of build an athletic stack, but I'll pass for this now. Let's go with Armstrong. Had a great season last year. Hopefully you can repeat, but just contributed in all stat categories and came out to play. So kind of looking at my second pick a little bit early here, just trying to see what I can do. I have a lot of outfielders still available to me, and I have Marte and Bryce Harper that are available as well. I'm starting to draft a little bit more of George Springer, leading off in that Toronto lineup. Obviously, they don't have Bichette anymore, but at the same time, let's go with Cody Bellinger. I can't pass over that value here. Getting part of that Yankees lineup. I like that a lot, so let's take Cody Bellinger here with an ADP 40, pick 39. His ADP is 40, so not that I got a value out of it, but I do have 3 outfielders right now, so I'm probably for this reason, because I have Corbin Carroll. Like I said, I'm optimistic that he's going to come back strong, but if he does take a month or two just to kind of get back into it, missing most of spring training, then at least I have to. My outfielders are a little bit stronger to kind of bridge that gap until he's coming back a full go. So, that's why I've kind of probably taken 3 outfielders right now. So I've been playing around a few of my drafts with different builds. I did one with 8 pitchers, 6 infielders, and 6 outfielders. I really felt good about my infielders and my outfielders in a sense. And it was able to just kind of tack on 8 pitchers. I didn't really get any studs. I wouldn't. I think my best pitcher was. I don't remember that draft here. I think it was as low as Valdez. I think Valdez was my first pitcher, so that would have been ADP roughly about 90. And then I just took pitchers after that, mixed in with some infielders and outfielders. Because of my first few picks, the first 7-8 picks were all outfield players. So a mixture of hitters were my first 8 picks. And then I kind of started getting into 7 to 8 picks, and then I finally got into pitching. So trying to go with that just to kind of avoid, I think biggest thing with pitchers is the injuries. Obviously, we know the Tommy John is a scary word and around your pitchers, so you want to make sure that you try to get as many, because a couple of injuries in your bullpen on your team can really hurt you, especially late in the season, where you need where you need the strong starts and the points as you progress, if you hopefully want to get into the second or third rounds. And especially the finals. So I did that. It was interesting. There's some good value still available later in these best ball drafts. You got Ronaldo Lopez, who has a Braves lineup spot. Guys like Shane Baz. Who else did I have in that one? I'm just trying to remember. There's a lot of guys at the end there. Guys that are in the rotation, and you can take a chance, like Braxton Ashcraft from the Pirates, guys like that. So a lot of individuals that are still available later in the draft, so you can forego pitching. You obviously, we're not going to get those studs, right? You want those innings, but like I said, sometimes with pitching, it's so hard to understand, like to ensure that you're getting somebody that can stay healthy through the year. So yeah, I just definitely decided that it'd be easier to get a lot of them and just hope that you can keep all 8 healthy, and you have a choice of a lot of pitchers when you're ready to go. But yeah, not you, buddy, not you, Profar. Let's go with Perdomo here. Kind of go with my Corbin stack. So obviously he had an outlier. Well, I wouldn't say an outlier. He had a great season last year, but you can't say it's an outlier. Like, he's still a young player. So hopefully there's also some ascension there that he's ascending, and it's not just a one-off. I think that's the biggest worry in the fantasy circles, is that Perdomo's season was a one-off. But I think that's always like that's the same thing about Kurtz. That could be the same thing about Cal Raleigh. Sometimes you gotta take the chance and just hope that maybe you do have a budding superstar on your hands here. And if I'm getting him in the 5th round, yeah, not bad, right? I'll take that any day. So you just gotta be optimistic and hope, and not hope, I just optimistic and think that it is repeatable for him. So I think I probably will go pitcher now. I think there's some good ones available right here. There's Brian Wu. Cole Ragans is available. Cole Ragans is gone. Logan Gilbert is available. Dylan Cease, Freddie Peralta. I like Chris Sale, so Hunter Green. You know what? I really like Chris Sale. I'm gonna go with him. I'm reaching a little bit, but I don't have any exposure to him, so I'm gonna not much in my Dinger draft. So I'm gonna kind of get Chris Sale. I think I always miss him, or there's always a hitter that I kind of want before it comes up. So let's take Chris Sale. I know I did reach quite a bit, and I don't think he would have been available had I waited to my next pick. So yeah, let's go with Chris Sale. If he's on, man. He just it's got to stay healthy. But he should lead that Braves rotation this year, especially with the injuries they have, and Strider still coming back. So let's go with Chris Sale, and just kind of give you a breakdown of my team right now. So Chris Sale is my only pitcher that I have drafted so far. My infielders are Nick Kurtz and Geraldo Perdomo. Corbin Carroll, Pete Crow Armstrong, and Cody Bellinger are my outfielders. So right now a 1-2-3 lineup. Looking for my next one. I'm probably going to go with a pitcher again, if there's a stud available. Otherwise, I'll probably go outfield. I do like Jacob Marcy quite a bit. I'm starting to draft him quite a bit as well. I'm starting to pick up shares of him. I think he as well is one of those guys, just like Perdomo, just like Kurtz, potentially could be good. He did have a strong finish to the season last year, and had some great stats per game and per plate appearance. So I don't mind taking a chance on Jacob Marcy. I think the Miami Marlins lineup should be okay. They got some good hitters in there, and they got the ascending the Ramirez, their catcher, and they got Stowers, Stowers. So a little bit of up and up on the Marlins lineup here. So Hunter Green goes. That was probably the one guy pitcher I was eyeing if he was available. I do like Josh Naylor as well. And Corey Seager, man. Corey Seager, he's interesting to me. The thing about Corey Seager is that if he can, like, again, if he can stay healthy, then we're fine. But it's always that, like, he's one of the best hitters in baseball. But the problem is health. Obviously, that's the biggest concern with him, is if he can stay healthy, because he doesn't give you, he's not able to play many games. So as you can see, it's been a decline in how many games he's been able to play. Kind of collaborates with his underdog points. So yeah, I like Corey Seager. It's one of those things. If he's able to stay healthy, you're all good. But that's the biggest thing, is if he's able to stay healthy. So let's go with Jacob Marcy, just because I just want to miss out on potentially him get taken. I mean here. So let's take Jacob Marcy here, and then we'll grab a pitcher. I do like Valdez. So Seager goes. So that probably would have been my pick if he would have come across. Max Fried as well is available. But I do like the consistency of Valdez. You kind of know what you're gonna get with him, and just a solid pick. And he's gonna give you good innings, give you about 1,050 to 1,100 points. So and I think the move over to Detroit is not gonna hurt him at all. So let's hopefully get Valdez here. So I'll go with Max Fried if Valdez does get taken for any reason, but definitely gonna go with pitcher here. So yeah, let's go with Valdez here. Yeah, liking the team so far. So right now I have a 2 pitcher, 2 infielder, and 4 outfielder build right now. I have Chris Sale and Framber Valdez as my pitchers. I have Nick Kurtz and Geraldo Perdomo as my infielders. And then I have Corbin Carroll, Pete Crow Armstrong, Cody Bellinger, and Jacob Marcy as my outfielders. So not too much in changes, I guess. I'm trying to think of any things that's happened in the past week or so with MLB news, other than the Profar injury. Just doesn't look good. Not injury, Profar PED suspension. That doesn't look good and probably won't end well. So yeah, that's not gonna help my teams, like I said, in the existing ones I have right now. But looks like I'm probably gonna go outfielder next. I do like Dalton Varsho. I'm probably gonna take him. As you can see, he's in between a bunch of pitchers, so I'm guaranteed to probably get one of these pitchers. But let's go with him as I come across this one. So I should be able to land him. And then I'm going to look at the pitchers that I like. I like Nick Pivetta. I like Nolan McLean, just dealing with an illness or something. Like he's got vertigo or something like that right now. So he's supposed to be pitching in the World Baseball Classic as well. But I don't know. Yeah, he's got an illness right now, so he might not make that start. So we'll see what happens with him. I like Mackenzie Gore. I think he's had an awesome start to the season last year, and then it kind of fizzled out. But I think moving over to Texas would help him. He played for the Nationals last year, and I honestly like to target pitchers that kind of move to a better situation. And I'll be honest, I'm not tooting my own horn. Like, I like Garrett Crochet because he came from the White Sox, moved over to the Red Sox. And so just situations like that where a pitcher is now in a better situation, a better team, better defense. So that kind of helps out. And you're actually playing for something. So that sometimes, in your psyche, it kind of helps as well. So like, for example, Nick Pivetta was moved over to the Padres, came over from Boston, kind of underachieved, but then, came out strong. So I'm hoping that Mackenzie Gore can kind of provide that same type of rebound. Like I said, he had a strong start to the season, was an all-star, but then kind of fizzled out near the end. So maybe playing in Texas, maybe, being with Jacob deGrom, and having a kind of like a mentor to be, to learn from and to kind of pitch alongside maybe might help him. And I hope that it pays off. So that and all for none because he got taken. So there goes Mackenzie Gore. So a lot of talking about nothing. But let's take Varsho here because I feel like he will be taken because really there's only Grisham that I like, and then like Rafaela as well. So maybe I can take him and then try to get Michael King or Gavin Williams on my next pick. So Pivetta goes as well, so I figured. So I like Kyle Bradish quite a bit. Just worried about the number of starts that he's going to get or number of innings that he's going to pitch this year. You ideally want to have a guy that can kind of go the distance and be the top of the rotation, but I think that he came back from Tommy John surgery and had a wonderful like return. He played awesome, and so I don't know if that should just kind of back off from him for that, only for that reason, because he might not, his innings might be limited this year. So, but just to kind of in context, he came back and just, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out the pick here. Pitcher or infielder? Let's go with the Langoliers here, just to kind of go with the Nick Kurtz stack. Langoliers is one of my favorite pickups this year as well, so let's go with him. I was eyeing either Gavin Williams or Michael King as my third pitcher, but yeah, I didn't want to pass up on Langoliers, but I could have gone either way. If I went pitcher, I don't think that would have been a big, probably would have gotten more value later on in the draft for an infielder. But it is what it is. So let's go with Langoliers for now, and then we'll figure it out. Zach Wheeler, like what's going on with him? Zach Wheeler is somebody that could potentially come back. You know what you're going to get with him. He's gone. So, yeah, I think that's a great value, especially at pick 116. So look out for Zach Wheeler as you get more positive news as he's throwing bullpen sessions and slowly will come back. He's the kind of guy that can come back. You might not have him the first month or so, but he's the kind of guy that can kind of help you build your team as you throughout progressing the season, and he comes back strong in the second month or third month or whatever it is. So that's a guy to look out for. Zach Wheeler, especially like I said, he's going in around pretty much the late round 10, like early round 11. So quite a bit of value because you have an ace that we know can dominate. So yeah, if everyone's scared of the injury, sometimes you gotta zig when you gotta zag. You should zig when everyone's zagging. So, don't, if you think Wheeler's going to come back, just same thing with Garrett Cole, right? Garrett Cole obviously goes later. He's going to miss more time than Zach Wheeler, perhaps, but still potentially you can get a lot of value out of Garrett Cole later in the summer, as your seventh pitcher or your sixth pitcher. Because if he comes back strong, and we've seen a lot of the pitchers have been coming back from Tommy John, they've been limited. The teams have been limiting their innings, but it looks like they still got the stuff. So be on the lookout for Zach Wheeler in your drafts. Let's go with the next one here. I'm gonna go pitcher for sure. I maybe might just take two this round because I don't think any of the picks, like any of the hitters, really excite me. So I really like Robbie Ray. I like Sandy Alcantara. He had a good finish to the year. That guy kind of took a little bit of time coming back from Tommy John, and so there's a story of a guy that had Tommy John, came back, wasn't as strong, but as the season progressed, got better and better. And then I think at the playoff time in the rounds 2, 3, and 4 of the Underdog Dinger last year, he was like top 10 in underdog points. So yeah, so that's kind of situation where, you know, player might not help you out in the first few rounds, but as he comes along, he can really definitely be a difference on your team, especially in the playoffs if you get there. Okay, so let's take Robbie Ray here. I don't know why Robbie Ray is like so looked at like not very like he's all the way down here, but you know, gave 180 innings, did pretty well. Didn't do too bad. But at the same time, like I don't think you need to be worried about Robbie Ray. Like you know what you're gonna get from him. He's a year removed from his Tommy John. Like he's back. He played last year. Put up over 1,000 points. Made 32 starts. Like, you know, that's good. That's pretty good. 16 quality starts. So, yeah, like Robbie Ray, the 20th pitcher in terms of underdog scoring, and still going this late. Like, I'll definitely take that value. Another one of my favorites right here is Brandon Woodruff. I definitely like him. He came back pretty strong last year as well. Just hasn't been throwing in the spring training, which is kind of worrisome for me. But at the same time, like I'm willing to take that risk because like I said, he had a pretty strong like finish to the season last year. I think he was putting over almost like 18 to 20 points per game, underdog points, like throughout the season. Like let me just double check. I think he did really well when he came back to yeah, like he had 12 starts and 437 points. Yeah, so he had almost like 21 fantasy points per game. Like that's pretty good. So yeah, Brandon Woodruff, another one of these guys that is going late in drafts that you can probably take. I definitely think there's a discount there for you. Like if you're waiting on a little bit of pitching, Brandon Woodruff is one of those guys that might take a little bit of time coming around, but he's only one of those guys, like the summer guys that can help you out as you progress throughout the season. And hopefully as he gets more and more healthy, gets more and more comfortable, gets confidence back, all that stuff. And then, you know, hang on, if you can get to the playoffs in your best ball, in your pod, I definitely think those are the kind of guys that can help you in the last 6 weeks of the underdog or best ball season. We're 10 picks away. I do like Wilson Contreras quite a bit as an infielder. Like I said, joins the Boston Red Sox from the St. Louis Cardinals, and will be batting cleanup so far, like what it looks like based on a lot of the news and notes from the camp. So that's obviously a great position to be in. He obviously goes, whoever's listening in. Yeah, so Wilson Contreras goes, but just a guy to kind of keep in the back of your head as a potential late draft pick. Batting cleanup in that Boston lineup is a good thing. So definitely someone that you should have a look out for. I got a couple of pitchers I'm going to line up again. Trevor Rogers and Nathan Valdi. Definitely another two guys that, you know, Valdi just didn't have a healthy season, but was dominant when he was in the lineup. I think, yeah, he was on a path to like Cy Young, 1 or 2, and definitely just couldn't stay healthy near the end of the year. So, yeah, but if he's able to stay healthy, like the path he was on, he was going to have a great season. So definitely somebody that is going really late based on injury risk. But at the same time, if you were able to, think about your draft or plan out your draft, there's another pitcher that I took in my 8 pitcher build for my last draft, just because he's going so late. So yeah, there's a few here actually. If you look at Trevor Rogers, Aaron Nola, Zach Gallen as well. So quite a bit of value as you progress in your drafts, and allows you to kind of load up on the hitters in the first few rounds, and then maybe kind of go all out on the pitchers as you as you build a kind of strong foundation with the hitters, even though like a 4 or 5 build of hitters in your terms of your infielders and outfielders, and you can definitely land some good reliable pitchers as you get closer to the end of the draft. So yeah, so let's go with Nathan Eovaldi here as my 5th pitcher. So far I have Chris Sale, Framber Valdez, Robbie Ray, Brandon Woodruff, and Nathan Eovaldi as my pitchers. And then I have Nick Kurtz, Geraldo Perdomo, Shea Langeliers as my infielders. And then I have Corbin Carroll, Pete Crow Armstrong, Cody Bellinger, Jacob Marcy, and Dalton Varsho as my outfielders. And hopefully Varsho can also stay healthy because he had a great return to the lineup. Obviously health is a concern, but should be an everyday batter in the lineup and that strong Jays lineup. So definitely like getting Varsho here. And then also trying to get a Barger as well, Addison Barger, to kind of get more of a Toronto stack late. Alejandro Kirk as well. They're not going to give you many at-bats, for Kirk, but a pretty solid player, and a pretty high WRC. So somebody you can also track in your drafts as well. Let's go with Trevor Rogers here. So I really like Trevor Rogers. I just don't understand why he goes so late. Came back from Tommy John, was kind of like Bradish, where he had quite a bit of a strong return, kind of like Woodruff. So this team is really banking on pitchers that can kind of stay healthy this year, and kind of build from the year they had last year, the second half of the season they had last year. So definitely love Rogers this late in the draft. So I was kind of late to the party with the pitchers, but I've been taking them quite a bit in the last few rounds. So right now I have 6 pitchers: Chris Sale, Framber Valdez, Robbie Ray, Brandon Woodruff, Nathan Eovaldi, Trevor Rogers. My infielders, I only have 3 so far: Nick Kurtz, Geraldo Perdomo, Shea Langeliers. And outfielders, I have 5: Corbin Carroll, Pete Crow Armstrong, Cody Bellinger, Jacob Marcy, and Dalton Varsho. I do like going infielder next in my picks. I'm still quite a bit away, but like Jacob Wilson as well to kind of get more athletics in there. I like Drake Baldwin now because Profar is out, so that's probably going to mean that that Drake Baldwin's spot in the lineup is secure. I think it was already, but this kind of gives you more credence to making sure that he's actually going to be in the lineup and be able to take advantage of that strong Braves lineup. I was mentioning Addison Barger. Matt McLain is on a heater. Don't forget about me. Who forgot about Matt McLain? He's on a little bit of a heater in spring training right now. So I don't know. It takes a lot to trust Matt McLain, but everything that he's doing right now in spring training makes him look really good. And if he can manage to get back to his previous lineup where where he was doing pretty well, he was descending. He missed 2024, came back last year, didn't have that great of a year. Was batting in the second spot, but then dropped all the way down to the final third of the batting order, and then just never got back there. So, but as you can see right here, 2 for 2 with 2 walks in his last spot, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, and a 3rd run scored in Monday's spring game against the Cubs. So, it's 8 for 14. He's got 3 homers. So it could be a bit of a bounce back, perhaps. The hype is getting there around Matt McLain. He's jumped in ADP quite a bit. I think he was going pretty much undrafted in a lot of dingers before. I remember seeing his name down there. So definitely somebody to keep an eye on. Obviously, spring training is not a guarantee of future success. Kind of like investments, it's not a guarantee. But at the same time, if he's doing really well in spring training, maybe that confidence is back, and he can definitely be part of that top order of that loaded Reds lineup with Ella De La Cruz and then now Gino Suarez. You definitely have somebody there that you can definitely take a late pick for your 5th or 6th infielder and have potentially a bounce back season. And like I said, you're not paying for it because it's one of your last few picks. So definitely somebody to keep an eye out on if you believe the spring training hype is real. So I got to look at Matt McLain, but I also want to look at Addison Barger as well. Definitely need a 7th pitcher, but I probably need to start taking some hitters just to kind of get back into the swing of things. No pun intended. Sorry, that's a dad joke, and I'm not scared to admit it. Well, Matt McLain goes, so there goes Mr. Matt McLain. I'm probably gonna take Addison Barger here just to kind of avoid that. Mr. Willie Castro, eh? Really had high hopes for him last year. Right, it took him quite a bit and didn't end up working out, but he's still around here. So let's take Addison Barger and kind of, build a mini Toronto stack here with a light stack with Dalton Varsho as my 4th infielder, Addison Barger. So we have right now currently a 6-4-5 build. Gonna want to get an outfielder. I'm just not sure of who I can chase. Chandler Simpson, guy has no power, cannot hit out of the park, but if you value steals and Underdog, he is your man for sure. Yeah, there's not many outfielders here. Let's take Stanton. Jeez. I can't believe I took him, but anyways, it is what it is. Stan basically has no elbows, man. Okay? He's basically saying my elbows hurt, really. I can't even open a bag of chips. So what I'm banking on is somehow this guy managing make it through the season. Maybe they rest him and just kind of pull him out in the last few weeks of the season, and that's where it's playoff time. So let's just hope that I can get something out of Stanton. It is a big risk, but at my 6th outfielder, I'm not really that worried, I guess, if you think about it. I prioritized outfielders in this draft, so I'm pretty happy with the 5 I have so far. With Corbin Carroll, Pete Crow Armstrong, Cody Bellinger, Marcy, and Varsho. So if I can get anything out of Stanton, I'm happy. Obviously, those elbows are going to be a problem throughout the year. He's kind of obviously come out and said that the pain hasn't gone away and it's still there, but he's batting and he's still playing. So I'm not sure what the man is doing to sidestep that pain. But hey, man, if I can get Stanton and he's available in September when I need him the most, in August and September for the Underdog Dinger playoffs, let's just hold on to him until then. So we're good with our outfielders, I think. I'm good with the 6 I have: Corbin Carroll, Pete Crow Armstrong, Cody Bellinger, Jacob Marcy, and Dalton Varsho, and Giancarlo Stanton. Let's load up on our pitchers. We need one, not load up, I guess. I only need one more to make it 7. I'll probably go with a 7 infielder bid just because I've kind of went slow on the infielders in this draft. So let's see what is available to us. Man, no one took Profar, eh? Not even like an auto draft or anything. I love Ivan Herrera. Sorry, just reading the news on him today. Yeah, sorry. I love Ivan Herrera. Great hitter. Just as a catcher, but I think they're probably going to be playing him on in the DH spot, even though his catching skills are questionable. But at the same time, I think he's probably going to slot in as a DH when he's not playing catcher. So definitely like Herrera as a pick, but I'm kind of worried he might go before I get a chance to get him. While Brendan Donovan goes, he's another guy I was going to talk about. I've drafted a lot of Brendan Donovan in both formats of my drafts, and oh man, Herrera goes too. So kind of lose out on my sleeper infielders. Donovan I just love because he's joining that Mariners lineup. He's batting leadoff, and guys after him are named Julio Rodriguez, Josh Naylor, Cal Riley, Randy Arozarena. You might know them. Not a bad quartet of batters to be batting before. So Yeah, somebody that I definitely love quite a bit, and I've kind of talked in my previous videos. Definitely target Brendan Donovan in your drafts, just because, yeah, he's gonna get a lot of good looks this year. So we have a couple of pitchers that we can kind of go after here. Matthew Boyd isn't too bad. You kind of know what you're getting. Kind of boring Boyd. If you want a little bit of excitement, Braxton Ashcraft is not a bad pick. Bailey Ober, he was pretty dominant the last couple of years prior to last year. So as you can see, he was on the ascension and then kind of hurt himself and then never got back into it. So that's definitely somebody that you can chase as a potential sleeper given the Pablo Lopez injury. But let's go with Matthew Boyd. It's going to go with a little bit of safety in my 7th pitcher. And we have 7 now so far. So we have Chris Sale, Framber Valdez, Robbie Ray, Brandon Woodruff, Nathan Eovaldi, Trevor Rogers, and Matthew Boyd as my 7th pitcher. I'm obviously now going to go all infielder out. I have few options available. I like Agustin Ramirez. I think I'm going to take him next. A little bit early. Yes, it is. But I got Jacob Marcy, so let's kind of get him going with that Marlin stack. Said no one ever. I don't think anyone's ever actively wanted to stack Marlins, but it is a situation I'm in. I don't want to risk losing him again like I lost Donovan and Herrera. So let's take Ramirez as my 5th infielder, and I need 2 more. So Luis Arraez is very boring. He is not exciting. He is just going to get on base and solid contact hitter, but he does give you 1,100 underdog points pretty much every year. So one of the most boring picks, I guess, if you want to make one for your team. But at the same time, you are getting somebody that consistently is able to put up numbers, albeit if your top dogs are just having a down week, you can count on Luis to kind of bridging that gap for that 1 year, for that 1 week. Or maybe a few weeks out of the year. Like I said, nothing too exciting. He's just kind of there and he's solid, and so you know what you're getting. Kind of boring, but at the same time, I think as a 6th or 7th infielder, you can do much worse. So definitely look at somebody like that. Weatherholt is interesting to me, as well as the rookie. And yeah, then you're really dealing with some low-end plugs here. Miguel Vargas. Numbers have gone up for the exit velocity for him. So I don't know. Not somebody I'm actively kind of going after, but pictures here. So maybe I go with Luis and then I go with a Weatherholt to kind of balance out my team, get some upside potentially in the rookie Weatherholt that should be playing every day. So potentially good bully goes too. So a lot of picks got stolen this draft. So a little bit of a disappointment. Just kind of getting the ability of getting a rookie in there just in case he does go off as your 7th infielder. If he doesn't, that's okay. You have 7 infielders, so it shouldn't hurt too much. But it doesn't matter. He's gone. I guess Kevin McGonigal. Sounds like a Simpsons character. He's also somebody that I'm not sure how much he's going to be playing. Let's take a quick look at roster resource here on Fangraphs. I don't think he's an everyday. Yeah, Yes, I don't think they have him making the team right now to begin with, so maybe that's something that you can maybe target late in your drafts for potentially coming on later in the season. But let's take Luis Arez. Like I said, very boring, but sometimes you just need some solid components of a lineup. Max Muncy, Ali Rushman, Jonathan Aranda. I don't mind Aranda. He came on strong too near the end of the year. Put up around 8 underdog points per game. So somebody I can definitely get around to drafting here. Because a lot of these guys are question marks. Like Marte could potentially be good. He's going to be in that Reds lineup. Looks like an everyday player. So, you could go after Marte. He's going to be playing in the outfield. So it'd be nice if he was an outfielder to get that positioning. But somebody else to think about. Carter Jensen as well, part of that Royals lineup. Young player. You got Salvador Perez in front of him as a catcher, but should probably DH and we'll probably get a few at bats. So, but for this one, let's take Aranda. Let's kind of hope that ascension as well, that growth as a player is real, and like I'm taking that potential as my 7th infielder. So this draft is done. Thank you very much for being a part of it. I'll quickly do a rundown of my team here. So we started off with Corbin Carroll, and then had Nick Kurtz as my infielder, then Pete Crow Armstrong in the 3rd, Bellinger in the 4th, Perdomo in the 5th, Chris Sale in the 6th, Marcy in the 7th, Framber Valdez is in the 8th, Dalton Varsho in the 9th, Langeliers in the 10th, Robbie Ray 11th, Woodruff 12th, Eovaldi 13th, Trevor Rogers 14th, Addison Barger in the 15th, Stanton in the 16th, Matthew Boyd in the 17th, Agustin Ramirez in the 18th, Arez in the 19th, and Aranda in the 20th. So ended up with a 7-pitcher, 7 infielder, and 6 outfielder team. My pitchers once again are Chris Sale, Framber Valdez, Robbie Ray, Brandon Woodruff, Nathan Eovaldi, Trevor Rogers, Matthew Boyd. And my infielders are Nick Kurtz, Perdomo, Langeliers, Barger, Agustin Ramirez, Luis Arias, Jonathan Aranda. And then my outfielders are Corbin Carroll, Pete Crow Armstrong, Cody Bellinger, Jacob Marcy, Dalton Varsho, and Stanton. So I have a little bit of a stack with the Yankees. I got the Bellinger and Stanton. Toronto, I got Varsho and Addison Barger. And then Miami, I got Marcy and I got Ramirez. And then Arizona, I got Corbin Carroll and Perdomo. So very light stacks. I didn't go higher than 2 players on each, but stack nonetheless, and be able to kind of get that. So once again, thank you very much for joining in. I hope you enjoyed this draft. Sorry if it was a little bit, a lot of rambling going on, or like a lot of pauses, but if you could please like and subscribe to this channel, please leave a comment. I just want to start engaging with the listeners or the watchers or the YouTube watchers or wherever they may be. And if you are subscribed, I thank you very, very much for being part of this channel. And as well, like I said, if I can help you in any way, or any news tidbits or anything that you picked up on this draft that you liked, please give me a like if you can, and subscribe. That would be great. Once again, we will be drafting. Enjoy the World Baseball Classic. We'll do some more drafts hopefully by next week, and kind of get closer as we get closer to that MLB start. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.